Welcome back to the Dialing for Dollars podcast, where we talk about life insurance, sales, and everything that happens between the first dial and the death benefit. I'm Corey Mitchell. Each week, I sit down with fellow agents, top performers, entrepreneurs, and industry leaders to actually understand what works to help new agents win faster. Today, we're joined by Darian Spears. He's a fellow sniper, and he has been going through the gauntlet trying all kinds of different leads, the shiniest object of all. So I want to have Darian on and just get his perspective on all the different leads and lead types and just talk about those. So Darian, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Corey. It's an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into it, Darian, like what brought you into, or how did you get into life insurance in the first place, or how did you end up here?
Well, oh God, it started after a long 10-year stretch in the restaurant industry. I wanted something different. I started off with real estate, like Airbnbs, short-term rentals, and I was dipping my toe into the entrepreneurial space. I left a restaurant I was at to join this, dropped out of college, and just went all in. Um, and eventually, that went pretty well. I succeeded. My first place, I was one of the top places in the Bay Area. I had a little Valentine's themed place, and it was really good. 400 square feet. People were paying a pretty penny to stay there. I tell you
Nice.
what. Then, I learned had some hard lessons. Second place I tried to get didn't go so well. Ended up crashing and burning. Went the whole business went under. Went back to the restaurant industry for a couple more years, and then I left eventually to um, well, I was still doing it in between doing insurance. I found an Indeed post. um, it was for one of those Indeed posts or those the mega recruiting. It was one of well, not the three-letter IMOs, but I'll say it was a very huge IMO that a lot of people are very familiar with. Symmetry Financial. That was my first stop in the business,
Okay.
and I mostly wanted to focus on final expense, and it was just uh you learn that certain IMOs you go to don't really, they all have a focus, and you can tell a strong point. And let's just say that I don't Symmetry just wasn't for final expense. They mostly are big on the bigger things like mortgage protection,
Okay.
annuities, and just the more advanced markets I found. And so at the time, I was looking for other things. I just felt like I didn't really have a lot of support when it came to final expense. And then I found everybody's favorite in the insurance mom herself, Dana Neeson on YouTube, Final Expense Telesales, and I started watching. I dug into a lot of people's content. I was just searching for knowledge. I was searching for ways to get better,
Sure.
and found Dana Neeson. I found, who else did I find? Peter Roberts. I found Johnny Nittifin. I found Cody Askins. I mean, I just went down the rabbit hole, as a lot of folks do on YouTube. I
Yeah.
was just like taking everything in and writing. But Dana
Yeah.
was the one I took the most from, Dana and Peter. And I was just writing down. I found David Duford as well. Um, Mr. Massey, I'm forgetting his first name, but all the people, all the gurus out there. But Dana was the one I took the most from, and I started like trying to piece together her script, and like I would write down like notes because I didn't have the whole thing. But this is when she was back with Lincoln Heritage. It was 2024, about October of 2024. And August is when I first got licensed, so I was only with Symmetry for about a couple months. Um, I was just trying to piece together a script. I bought some Kaboom leads, 20 Kaboom leads, 20 to
Nice.
50, I believe. Didn't sell any of them. I had like a jumbled up Data Neeson script, and I was just like, man, so I left, joined Lincoln Heritage. I was with them until January, until the fateful day, as everyone knows, when we all got canned. Um, it sucks. I was doing good too. I was on the up and up,
Okay.
got canned, and then I went to go join David Duford in the Dig Agency. In February, I joined them. Um, and it was good. I mean, I free lead program, as a lot of people know, free leads. That's one of the lead types out there. We'll probably
Uh-huh.
get into that. But it was like, having a job. I could sit down and just dial all day, and not have to worry about a thing, and just connect to calls, and just sit there and make money. Didn't have any expenses on my hands. I didn't know what being a broker was about. I didn't know any of that. And so all I knew was free leads and final
Okay.
expense. And working those 10 to 14 hours a day at Lincoln Heritage, I was grinding, and I did the same thing with Dig. I was just grinding 8 to 10 hours a day. But that's how you got to start sometimes, and to get good, then the outbound, it's just, it takes time and reps, and I got a lot of it. And I'll say, in December-ish, January, that's when I made the switch, came back to Dana. After Dana had got her new team in Power, joined up with them, linked up with Caden Sanchez, the Sniper Insurance, and all the good guys, the rowdy boys over here. And I've been here ever since. And um, it's that's kind of just been the journey.
Nice. I knew you were with Dig. I didn't realize you were with Dana at Lincoln
Hmm.
Heritage too, or maybe I did, but had forgotten.
Yeah.
So with all the things that we deal with in life insurance, there's scripts, there's leads, there's training, there's IMOs, there's all the everything, and there's no right answer. But are leads the shiniest object? Seems like,
Um, I would say it is. I mean, leads are the one thing that everybody talks about, that the people either you live or die on or complain on. Like I have people ever since I've been, testing these inbounds and talking with these other people and getting shout outs and stuff, people have been like coming into my DMs. I've had multiple like people's like, oh, like how are these leads, or what have you done this, and how are they? Like what are just people just inquiring, because people are always looking for the next best thing, because it's the
yeah,
easiest thing to blame when you're not doing well, is like it's the leads. It must be the people I've talked to. It must be this. It must be that. And I've fallen into that trap too. I was there
yeah,
when I was doing free leads. I hated it. I'm not gonna lie. I was literally suffering every day. But it was a means to an end. Like I had to do it.
yeah,
Like I was making good money doing it, so I just like sucked it up. Like the money was worth more than the BS that I had to deal with. But eventually,
yeah,
like over time, like I just I just hated it. Like I just dealing with the constant, because it's a mental battle. Like you have to
yeah,
build mental fortitude. And I will say, while it is the shiniest object, it's not to say that leads don't matter at all and where you're spending your money is not important. That couldn't be more further from the truth. I believe it's quite the opposite. But depending on where you're at and your skill level, I do believe that a certain lead type is appropriate. Yes. Like would I tell a new agent ever to start taking $75 inbound calls? Absolutely not. You'd have to be insane. Or
yeah,
just like wasting money. I would never do that. Like I have a route, a path that a new agent should start with, and it's never inbounds. But there are some vendors obviously that are better than others, and you just got to be careful where you put your money. But to say that it is the shiniest object out there, I mean that I would say that's true. It's more than nobody out here is talking about in your DMs like, oh, what's the best dialer? Like what phone? So there's dudes out here, John Wetmore, dialing with a cell phone all day. Like he doesn't even use like a dialer or nothing like that. There's guys who are killing it off the cell phone. So that's not it. I mean, where you're at in IMO, that could be a shiny object too. A lot of people treat that as a shiny object, your
yeah,
IMO. People bounce from company to company to company thinking that, oh, I'm going to be better here. The grass is greener on the other side. And yes, that could be true too. Um, and always having that support system and the knowledge, the training, and the leadership around you is where you align is important as well too. But
yeah.
leads is, if we had to make a chart, leads I would say is number one on shiny object list.
Yeah, I mean, culture fit's a big thing. You got to be able to fit in, get support, and do the thing you're good at. So going where that works best, I can see where people jump around. You know, um, I didn't have free leads kind of in my on my radar because I've never done that. But like, what? Let's start there. Like free leads, what does that entail? Is it just all age leads? Somebody leads somebody bought for you, and you're just a like a license only agent. What does that look like?
So at least how it worked to where I was at. So and Lincoln Heritage actually was free leads too. So in a free lead system, you're not considered a uh well, no, let me just say this. In a free lead system, you are under an agreement of where your IMO, your upline is buying your leads for you, and then you take a reduced commission because of that.
Okay.
So Lincoln Heritage, for example, they had like a step up. Now there's also two different like pay models. There's something called LOA and
Mhm.
non-LOA. So I was in an LOA a non sorry, it was non-LOA with Lincoln Heritage, and then I went to LOA model with Dig. And what LOA means is that you're getting paid by your upline, not the carrier. The carrier doesn't pay you directly.
Okay.
Whereas when I was with Lincoln, the carrier pays you directly. And
Okay.
so now as far as commission, we're talking like as low as we're talking about 20 to 40% commission.
Oh, okay.
It's that low. But think about it, you're not paying thousands of dollars a month per leads. So it's like,
There's a trade off.
with Dig, I was still making good money simply because I didn't have to buy the leads. All I do is just sit and sell. And at highest, I was making, I think it was like maybe 60% with AMM. So that's still, that's That's on
Yeah.
the highest end, right? And the low end, maybe, 15% with your GI or your Moo graded or something like that. But hey, I'm not paying for leads. I don't have to pay for nothing like that. I didn't even have to pay for, I don't even think we had to pay for like the systems, the dialers, nothing. Everything was free. You don't have to pay for nothing. You just get in
So
there
you
and
sell,
sell.
you make money. That's it. There's no. It's
That's
kind
it.
of like
No,
an
that's it.
employment.
It's
Oh,
a
okay.
job. It's like a job. You're still 1099, of course, but it's like having a 9 to 5. You just come in, you clock in, you don't have to worry about I'm not paying for nothing. But you have to realize, I mean, I didn't know the broker world until I stepped into it, where everything is now on you. That's one of the things I struggled with when I first switched over is just now everything's on me. Now I have to figure out where am I going to get the leads? Where am I going to get
Yeah.
this? Where am I going to get that? What's this? It was just this whole wave of things. And when I was more focused on outbound, I haven't done outbound in like 2 months at this point. I'm done with it. But when I was focused on outbound, it's like now you got to worry about, oh my God, my systems. Now I got to worry about, when should I be calling these people? Like there's just so much that goes into outbound as a broker, when you're on your own and you have to buy everything. Because
Yeah.
one thing that I did like about Dig is that like our dialer was great. It's called Convoso. That thing was, I mean, Convoso was just a monster. I mean, the thing
Yeah.
that it would dial 9 to 13 lines at a time, depending on how many people were on. I mean, that thing was, it was like it automatically dialed, it knew the freshest lead style first. Like it just knew everything. And it connected to Go High Level. So everything was like connected. When the lead comes in to Go High Level, it goes to Cavoso, it dials. It just, you didn't have to worry about nothing. And
Okay.
then when I switched over to brokering, it's like we have Wave Dialer now. Now I gotta like go through all these categories and I have to like, okay, did I call these people yet? There's just like that I didn't have to worry about. And so that is one of the things that I did like, at least when it comes to outbound. But yeah, free leads I think is a great spot for, if you're new to the industry, if you're fresh, why not? There's not too much investment besides just getting your states. That's really the only thing you have to worry about is just getting your state licenses.
Yeah.
You can just sit and sell and then learn and get the reps under free leads. And when you're comfortable, and you have maybe some capital under you, then switch over to being a broker and that. So I think it's a good start for new agents for sure. But for
Yeah.
experienced people, you got to get out of it.
Yeah. I mean, dialers are crazy because you have to worry about how healthy your phone numbers are if they're showing
Yeah,
up as
all that.
spam. You
Yep.
pay for all it. It is such a pain in the ass, for lack of a better term, because you don't know. You call people, you're trying to help them. They ask for your help, but you can't get a hold of them because like that looks like you're a spam call. So that's the one thing I hate fighting about with dialers. So let's start with like outbound lead vendors. So like we're past the free lead program. We're into the broker space now where you're buying your own leads.
Hmm.
Um, let's start there. If you're a new agent, do you go fresh leads, high intent, high price leads, or do you go age leads and just try to get some experience and reps? What's your thoughts on that?
For me personally, like when I start an agency, hopefully coming soon here, but what I'm personally going to do with new agents is I think that it's about getting reps. Reps is completely what you need as a new agent. If you've never done this before, especially if you've never sold, it's different if you're already in sales and you're like a killer in another industry. Like sales is sales. If you understand sales, you can go anywhere and make money. You'll learn eventually. In that case, maybe they could get away with some fresh leads since they kind of just already know the process, the sales process.
Sure.
But for people who are fresh, I would say the best thing to do is just get some age leads. Why? Because you can get a lot for a little bit, $1 leads. Or we love our CloserTech $1 leads.
Oh yeah.
Or, I suggest, you get on the unlimited leads, close their tech dialer. And not penguins. Screw them. Don't do that. I went down that route already. CloserTech has an unlimited leads dialer. You pay 450 or $500. You get unlimited leads for an entire week. And I think that's like your gauntlet. As a new agent, I put a new agent on that. In 7 days, let's see what you can do. And
Yeah.
then if you don't hit certain metrics, I'll put you on another week. And then after that, you know, now we're gonna get you up to maybe some more fresh stuff. I recommend either Goat Leads, Kaboom, maybe do something with Scale My Social. If you got some money behind it, if you can set up your own campaign, that ends up being cheaper in the long run, just to have your own ad campaigns. Um, if you want to do outbound, me personally, I'm doing an inbound agency, so that's eventually what I want my agents to get up to. But I
Yeah.
think doing inbounds is a privilege. You need to earn the right to start doing inbounds because these people want an expert, not a noob on the phone, someone who doesn't
Yeah.
know what they're doing.
And I tried inbounds when I was fairly new and bombed. I mean, it was like, oh, this is the ticket, but no, it's a skill set.
Hmm.
Definitely have to make it ready. So if you're down outbound, brought up a good point. There's ad campaigns where I was like, Scale My Social. There's Done For You
Hmm.
Marketing. There's all kinds of different agencies that want to sell you ad management and stuff for generating
Right.
your own leads. or you can just buy the leads, but they're generally priced at, 20, 22 bucks, whatever.
Yep.
Um, is there a difference in those, or what's your experience between those different types of outbound fresh leads?
Me personally, I haven't done the do your own the marketing thing. I think when I first went to the broker program in Dig, we just our leads were all like purchasable in-house. We didn't really have a we couldn't really go out and do that. I don't know how things work over there now, but so I didn't get a chance to explore like scale my social and all this other stuff. But from what I've seen just in our agency, from the sniper guys and Empower and everybody here, they've been killing it on scale my social because it's one like shared data set.
Yeah.
So as more and more people get on and mark and you could because you have an opportunity to tag conversations as like quality conversations and that helps everybody's campaigns. And so
Hmm.
being in something like that, I think is well worth it. And some people are getting their leads for 8 to 11 bucks a pop. I mean, we're
Yeah.
talking extremely low, and
Hmm.
it's great. So I would say that Scale My Social from what I've seen, not through personal experience, has been like one of the best when it comes to outbound, especially if you have that going for a long time, you're out of
Hmm.
the learning phase. And if you have the capital to keep it going and continue to make the sales, it, I don't think it's as far as running your own ad campaigns and stuff, I think they're one of the best, top
Yeah.
three at least.
When I started, that's what I started on, but I had a hard time. I didn't know how to sell or convert, and
Right.
my lead cost never really got down below 16, 17 bucks because I came in around the holidays, and
Mm,
the message was that ad space is at a premium. I think there's maybe more to that, but I spent a lot of money learning what not to do, but
hmm.
never could get ahead of the cash flow cost because it's expensive to run programs like that. I was spending like 500
Yeah.
bucks a week
Yeah.
and was only getting maybe 20 leads, and it's just not enough to be effective because you're burning numbers, you're calling people too many times, and you're clinging to every single sale because that's your last shot
Yeah.
to get to talk to them, right? So I tried some Kaboom leads and things like that. I think ad management is probably the best way to go to get wholesale costs on your leads.
Yeah.
Um, but you still only get to talk to half of them because the other half just won't pick up no matter
Exactly.
what, especially if
Yeah.
your number's listed as spam, right?
Exactly.
Um,
It's it
so
sucks,
you, yeah. So what kind of a skill set is required to do outbound? I have my views on this, but I'm curious what yours are.
I mean, outbound, your skills have to be. I mean, this is where the killers in this industry are born is outbound because you got to be um quick on your feet,
Mhm.
quick with the tongue. You have to be great at handling objections. You have to be smooth, confident, have authority. And you learn all that like in outbound.
Yeah,
It's just the hand and I'm not to say that inbounds you don't need any of that, but I mean it is easier because inbounds you're at least you're paying for the conversation. You automatically getting into a conversation, whether it's outbound, a lot of the times you're fighting for the conversation. And if you
yeah,
can learn how to do that in an outbound setting, when you get to inbound, I'm telling you things just like flow like this. I got a guy, one of the top agents at Dig, Marcus Keikos, Marcus Insurance. If you've seen him on Instagram, he's a killer. He was a killer on outbound. He switched up. He's been doing inbounds. He sent me. He's 4 for 6 right now on agent calls inbounds. He just texted me. He's in he was like, man, I'm killing it on these inbounds. I was like, dude, I knew you would because he's already a killer at outbound. So when he
yeah,
switched over to him, it was just natural. Now he's just paying to get into the conversation. He's just in. He was already a killer on outbound. So, but you need to become that an album before you jump into it because it'll make it so much easier to do
yeah.
so.
So you have to be good on inbounds. You have to be really good on outbounds first. So that's
I
where the
mean,
age leads come in, right? Like having a ton
yeah.
of reps to practice going to war with these people who didn't want to talk to you, and even though they fill out the information, like how is that? What is that? Because when you do inbounds, you don't have to worry about fighting for the conversation. You're already there. So how does fighting for the conversation for so long get you there, or is there more to it?
I mean, well, it's not only that. There's other things that come with like the skill set that's needed for inbound. Number one is the underwriting. The
Hmm.
underwriting needs to be tight, and your application writing needs to be tight. All of that needs to be like. There's more than just it's more than just fighting for the conversation. Because a lot of times the new agents mess up is like, okay, now I'm in the conversation. Now what?
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing. Like, do you even know how to fill out an application? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about like 16 carrier things on my screen right now that I could click on at any time to fill out an application. If you don't know how to do every single one of them backwards and forwards, you shouldn't be doing inbounds. I'm sorry. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not just about being a smooth talker. You be a smooth talker all you want. Talk to people all day. You can be good at that getting into the conversation, but when it comes to filling out an app, you're trash. Like it just doesn't work like that. You're gonna lose sales like that. If you don't know how to, you need to know how to. I know how to do every single one of these companies' apps backwards and forwards. I know the nuances between them. I know what they will take, what they won't. I know which one I'm going with. If a person can do this, if they can text, if they can email, they can only
Mhm.
do voice signature, don't know how to work their phone. I already know all of that because I've done it so many times. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm already figuring out in the conversation. I already know which carrier, what company I'm going to go with, what problems I could run into, what the glitch is, and all this when this company doesn't work. I had to do that 3 times today. One
Hmm.
company wasn't working, it was acting up. They wouldn't send them the text. I was like, okay, now I gotta go here. Then I had to switch again. I had to go from Transamerica to Royal Neighbors to Ethos. And eventually, like I had to do all of that within a span of like 10 minutes. But I know
Yeah.
that how to do that because I've done it so many times, right? And if you don't know that as a new agent, you're gonna just be sitting there fiddling your thumbs on the keyboard because you don't know how to fill out an application. So
Yeah.
that's
That's
what the
huge.
reps come in handy too. The reps will help you do that. Now you should always do a W app. As soon as you get a carrier app submit like approved and you have a contract with them, do a fake application or a sandbox or something. Do it on yourself. Don't actually submit it, or you can submit it as like test or whatever, and they'll just discard it. You need to know the process. You have to. You have to have
Hmm.
all of your links, all of my passwords. It's all saved. I could click. I can click Family Benefit right now. Boom, my username. It's already there. It's already. I'm already ready to log in. I'm
Yeah.
ready to go. Like you need to be tight with inbound. These people want an expert, right? They don't
Yeah.
want some noob on the phone. They're calling off a TV ad. You just spent $75 on a TV ad. And you don't know what you're doing. Come on, like this is you got to be an
Yeah.
expert. You got to be sharp. You got to know your product knowledge. You got to
Yeah.
know what's out there. You got to know a lot, and that comes with
Yeah.
reps. That comes with time. I did this for a year and a half at this point, working 10, 14 hours a day. Like I got good. I forced myself to get good at this so that now I'm here at this point and I can do it. So that's where you need to get to before even thinking about taking an inbound call.
Yeah. No, it's amazing because they call in almost like expecting a customer service experience.
Right.
They can get the answer to every question they have just like that, like you're saying. If you don't know how everything works in the back end, you're done. You're gonna spend a lot of
Hmm.
money figuring out your skill set isn't what it needs to be to do inbounds. So yeah, just do it all alone. Now there's different kind of lead vendors out there. You and I have used CloserTech, and we seem to be pretty good fans of those guys. Um, just on strictly leads, not dialers yet. But like CloserTech, have you used any Penguin leads, or what other lead vendors have you used for AIDS leads or fresh leads or?
I mean, so in terms of the lead, I didn't use Penguin's actual like buying leads. I just used their unlimited veteran. I say that very loosely, veteran
Okay.
dialer. BS marketing. Yeah, so that and then Closer Tech, I tried the $1 leads, the $1 haulers. There's some gold in there, dude.
Yeah.
There's actually some gold. I've gotten, like a 1500 AP off of one of those before. So I was like,
Hmm.
man, like this is I think that was off of their dialer though, but still like, it's Closer Tech has some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Goat leads, I heard is really good. People have been loving goat leads, killing them. They got trucker leads, IULs, final expense, premium. Kaboom, everybody I know people like a lot. Who else does Let's get Outbound? I mean, there's just so many lead vendors these days, but really I just try to stick with the ones that I've already, they're proven. They got a proven track record. Like they're not,
Yeah.
BS and people, they all claim the same stuff, they're all using the same thing. It's all just
Yeah.
Facebook generation mostly. So, but those are the ones that I would recommend. So either Kaboom, Goat, Closer, in terms of like Outbound, those are
Yeah.
pretty much, prime time, even you said those are pretty much the ones.
Yeah. I tried primetime for a while, and one thing that kind of got me, I used one batch. They were super cheap, 25 cents a piece, but
Oh wow.
uh, which was awesome. I spent $100 for 400 leads, but I had like one day I was calling, I had like 10 in a row where it was like, oh, wrong number. I've had this number forever. And then when I reached out to them about it, they said, no, these are just data leads. So where does TCPA
Uh,
compliance come into it when it's a data lead versus an opt-in consent form that they filled out at some point? Like that's problematic for agents who are dialing these leads and just calling people randomly. They're gonna get sued, right? What is? what is your take on data leads versus consent in, and what do you know about
I
TCPA compliance?
Yeah, no, if you're a new agent, especially, you need to avoid all that. Get rid of get out of the data lead BS nonsense. Any lead that's like less than $1, like those 20, no, don't do it. Like the cheaper doesn't mean better. Like you need to be careful because one wrong move, one wrong mistake, that's a fine just waiting to happen. Your license problem, you don't want that. You don't want problems with the Department of Insurance. Stay away from that. No,
Yeah,
no data leads.
and they're not small fines. They're like 5 grand a piece or 100,
Yep.
like, or
Yep.
or more. They're crazy. It's yeah. So is it fair to say then for age leads, you're a CloserTech guy, and for fresh leads, you're Scale My Social or Kaboom? Is that kind of the
Yeah, the
track you would
scam.
put?
I would say Scammer Social, Kaboom, Goat. For fresh outbound. That's kind of what I would stick with. And then
Okay.
aged, same thing. Closer Tech. Even Kaboom has age leads now. Yesterday's leads.
Yeah.
They have age leads that just nobody just got to, just didn't go to an agent. You can get them for like $7 to $15 a piece, right? They're down from
Yeah.
like 25. So I mean, I say that's a good deal too. I mean, but
Yeah.
really, it's all about where can you get the most for the least. If you're really just trying to save to be economical, I think there's no better route than the dialer. I think, me personally, just because and I think I gravitated towards that because I maybe I just it was what I was used to because that's how it worked on the free lead program. I would just literally sit down on my
Oh,
chair, hit available, and that's it. I would just sit there and sell. And so I was really just looking for something to give me that feeling again and give me that experience again. And for
okay.
$450, because I think they got their promo code for $450 for 7 days, I just don't know how you get better value than that. I
Yeah.
mean, because some of those leads are fresh, like they
Yeah.
just inquired, and it's like,
Yeah.
how do you know how much a fresh lead can go for 20 to $30 and you're
Yeah.
getting a whole week for 450? Come on, like if you sat
It's
and worked for 8 to 10 hours a day, come on now, do the math.
oh yeah. Like
It's
the
just
Outbound dollars though, it's a different kind of setup because it's basically the company ran in or ads to generate inbound traffic. And if the inbound call was missed, it goes into a queue and then the dialer calls them on like a 15 line multi-line dialer. And once they
hmm
connect the call, they get you.
hmm
I, I had pretty good results with it, but I didn't like what it did for me as building my skill set because all you have is a phone number and you might have a date and time that they called in. You might not have.
yeah.
So like on the outbound dialer though, when you're calling back these people that they called in, missed the call, all you have is the phone number when they called in. It might have been an hour ago, which is fantastic because they're fresh and they're still looking. But it doesn't change the equation of having to get through and fight for that conversation. But what I
hmm
didn't like about it is you have to kind of generate a conversation out of thin air, right? You
hmm
don't have a name, you don't have their address or their email to verify. You don't have their date of birth. You don't know who the beneficiary is. You don't have their favorite hobby. You have nothing. So generating a conversation out of thin air, I figured it out, but it kind of rattled me, if I'm being
Yeah,
honest. What was your
it can be
experience
rough.
like?
Yeah, I mean, it can be rough. I mean, I talked with Caden and stuff about like what's the best, and I think I shared it with you too. Like, what's the best kind of intro? How do I go about this? And it was one of those things where uh, you got to be tactical about it, and maybe maybe starting with like regular age leads is maybe better to go when you have more information, so you're kind of used to that, and then maybe work up to the dialer.
Mhm.
Um, and I would say actually, yeah, that is the route I would go. I work with just the $1 leads, then you get on the dialer, then you go to fresh leads because at least then you've gotten reps, you kind of know what it's supposed to sound like.
Mhm.
But that's why I said that's where confidence comes in. Confidence and just being smooth, like, even if you don't have a lot of info, it's like, hey, this is uh what I'm dealing with. Like if I didn't have a name or if I just had a date or something like that, I kind of just I'm like, oh, hello. I'm like you just kind of build that curiosity, like, oh, I apologize. I'm just licensed with the state, just trying to get my records updated. Like, and you just go with it. And that's it's just about confidence, really. You
Yeah.
gotta have it. That's you gotta just go with what you got. And if
I
you're
think the hard
personable
part
on
with
the
that,
phone, yeah, if you're personable on the phone, it's pretty easy because if you just naturally just personable, you're confident, you're smooth, like you could
yeah.
do anything, say anything.
Yeah. The hard part for me is like those dialers use AI. So it's not going to connect the call until it's spent 3 to 4 seconds trying to verify if it's an actual human who picked up. So by the time the call's connected, the person's already been saying hello, 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 and nobody's there. So you
Yeah.
get on there, and you almost have to just start off with the, "Oh, we have a bad connection" approach. Like, "Oh, I'm sorry, can you hear me? Okay, I feel like we have a.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this okay? Can you still hear me?" And just play that
Hmm.
game to get them realizing that it's not a AI dialer. It just, I didn't like that process for me personally, just because it felt like I was always pretending, and I don't know.
Hmm.
It felt kind of scammy, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, it's rough. But yeah, I still think, in terms of, but just in terms of getting the reps, like for the money, like that's something like that is just, and I think that maybe they could get better with that over time.
Yeah,
Maybe they could, get better with how they're getting the info and things like that, and then maybe generating that better for people. That could maybe be some feedback for them. Because if they proved it to where like every call had a name,
yeah,
date, all that stuff, that would be crazy. But the reason why I
yeah,
guess they can't do this is the way they're generating them is what they told me is they're just basically their info because they call in. Obviously, no one's going to answer because it's not an inbound. They don't have a system for that. They're just
right,
calling in from the ad. Then their information goes into the dialer. So all you have is just when they called in. That's it.
yeah. Now, yeah, it's now you've used CloserTech, their dialer, and you've used the Penguin Leads dialer. You didn't have good luck with the Penguin Leads dialer. Like it was not.
Nope, absolutely not.
Was it the same kind of process where all you had is a name and a name and a time or a phone number and a time
Hmm.
they called?
That's it. Yeah, it was the same thing. It was just, but they market it as like veteran leads, and it'll say like a veteran in the bottom if it's a veteran.
Uh,
Called them and they were like farmers or they weren't. I was like, dude, I'm done with this. I can't.
well,
I
some
think I
farmers
had like,
served.
well, no, this guy didn't. He's never been a veteran his entire life, so I don't know how he was even in there. Just a lot of BS in there, instant hangups, no conversations. I think I had like 40 to 60 connections, zero conversations,
Really?
zero. And
Wow.
I've never experienced, no, with CloserTech, it was the exact opposite. I was getting conversations, I was getting connections, I was doing it. I think I already
Yeah.
closed a fat one. One of my first ones is a hundred and no, $198 a month. I
Yeah.
had already well made my money back.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think he's still even in here. His name is Mr. Roberts. Where is he at? Yep, $194.36 or
Hmm.
2332 AP. And that was on May 6th. I remember CloserTech Dialer. I think I had two sales through them.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and then I just I was just testing it out. I wasn't actually gonna stake with it, but I mean maybe I should have shoot because there was some gold in there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like the one week I used it for a few weeks, and I think I had, average between 100 and 150 leads a week. So for 475 bucks or 500 bucks or whatever it is to get that many leads, and then we cracks at conversations for people who were actually calling in before. Not, yeah, it's a great place to get a lot of
Hmm.
reps and practice
Yep.
your craft and fight for conversations because they're it's a difficult conversation to start. So definitely, so you would say start with age leads, cut your teeth, move to the outbound age lead, unlimited lead dialer to get more reps and higher quality leads, and then move
Yep.
to maybe a fresh lead like a Kaboom or Scale My Social or something like that. That's kind of your path. Okay.
Well,
Now,
that's yeah, until eventually, yeah, because like that's for the average agent. Like if you just want to focus on outbound, but I do think with the way things are going, like inbound is definitely the way to go. That's the future of this business. But
yeah,
for after that, yeah, you then go into inbounds. Once you've proved that your underwriting is tight, you can fill every application backwards and forwards without having to think about it. When you can sound confident on the phone, you know what you're talking about. You know about the different types of companies, all the BS out there, the Colonial Penn AARP nonsense, the cover for 9.99 a month. You know about the Americo smoker cessation program, about how your price is gonna go up after 2 to 3 years if you don't quit smoking. You need to know what's out there. All this other stuff that people are getting BS'd with, and the programs where they start off cheap and your price goes up every 2 3 years. You need to know about how State Farm, Allstate, and Colonial Penn and all those other places, Physicians Mutual have 2 year waits on them. You need to know all that, and then you only get that. You get that with experience and doing this just for so long and having so many conversations. You learn this stuff. You need to know the average cost of funerals and burials. You need to know the process. filing a claim, a death claim. You need to just all of that because all this comes with it. Like, what do you think happens after you make a sale? You think you just never talk to people again, throw away their number, and never? I mean, you could do that. That's what most
Yeah.
agents do, and they end up getting their clients ripped from them. Because I've already done that with a few people. I've taken a lot of agents' clients because, well, unfortunately, you never reach back out to them, and they reached
Yeah.
out to me instead. So
Yeah. Absolutely. And you have to know what they're going to see on their end of the signature process too. So it's not just about doing the application so you know the application. It's about doing it so you know what the signature process looks like for the customers. So you can walk them through it.
that
You're
too.
right. You have to know so much more so you that it's tight. But there's like a stepping stone between going pure inbounds and outbounds and live transfers. You've done some live transfers with does Health as well.
Yep. Hmm.
Health as Wealth Marketing has been doing some of those. I did some with Smart Financial a while ago before I was here when I was my old agency, but didn't have the telephone skill set that I have now. I thought it was a scam because you get a live transfer and then they'd hang up or they would ditch you on the first discovery question. It was a painful lesson, but you're having good luck with Health as Wealth, right?
Yeah, yeah, I've done a few with them. It was like 50% so far. So they're pretty good. And they just recently just updated as well too. I just got an email. They're changing their transfer agent like script to make it better and like make sure that people know this isn't free, this is all that. Because that's one of the main things you deal with in inbound and transfers is people thinking that's some free government program. And
Yeah,
that's like I mean, that's my issue with that is like a lot of these vendors are trying to generate the most amount of calls possible and not the most quality calls possible. That's my
right.
issue. And so it's not about that for me. I don't care if I have to pay a premium. Like I paid $85 for a lead before. I don't care. As long
Yeah,
as I know it's if I know it's quality and I know, like agent calls, they're discounted right now. But um as long as I know it's quality, like I don't mind because I know that I'm paying for to skip the hours and hours of sitting here dialing all day hoping for somebody to pick up. I'm
yeah,
getting straight to the conversation, straight to the presentation.
yeah,
Every call that damn near every inbound that you take should be a presentation. You might as well just count them in the same category. you
sure.
know
Yeah. So with live transfers, are those different than like a AI screened or an agent screened inbound,
well, it
or is it
depends. There's
basically
different types of live trans. So there's the AI screen live transfers, which All Calls does, allcalls.io.
okay?
I've had some. I'm looking at my screen, my sales screen right now. I have had some good success with those. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, so I have about five of those in here. And then a couple health as well. So those are so the all calls, it's AI screened. Um, they did share with us, I think, the script that the AI uses, so it verifies. Oh no, that was our own, the lasting mark ones. But it's a similar thing. They call in and AI will screen them for and say, hey, you looking for final expense, yada yada, confirming the age, all that. And then they transfer the call to the agent. Whereas the other ones, inbounds, um, it's just they're just calling off of either a TV ad or a uh, or there's some that were like Health as Wealth, for example. They don't use AI. They're using like actual, agents from like the Philippines or something like that, VAs,
Okay.
to screen them. They still have to go through follow a script, and so I do like that because I love a pre-screen call because at least I know that when I'm getting a call, I know that it's already gone through all the BS, like the age, that this isn't free. I know that's what I'm getting, right? I don't
Yeah,
have to deal with all that when I'm on the call. And if I do, I'm getting my refund. So,
yeah, yeah, and that's a pretty important thing. Now, I've heard horror stories with live transfers where
oh yeah.
they'll get somebody on the phone, transfer them over, but they'll stay on the line just on mute. So that when you write the application, then they'll take all that information and they'll write the application
What?
on the same person, and it's kind of fraudulent, right? It's like I've heard of that happening.
Wow. Or just steal their info in general.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Whoa.
so that's that's something. I just thought it was. I mean, it's interesting. It seems like live transfers and AI screened calls, or even agent screened calls, are basically the same thing. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, because it's all just trying to it does the same purpose, right? You're just trying to wean out people who are, or that don't have a bank account or think it's free or just, want some free government program or are too old or are not in the age range who are looking for vital expense. Some people call these numbers and they're looking for car insurance or health insurance, so it just gets all that out the way, right? It
Yeah,
just gets all of that out the way so you can just get straight to business. Hey, we're looking for burial insurance. Okay, let's get to it.
got it. So like live transfers, they're built differently though, because once the conversation is connected, then you're charged. So there's no buffer, right, on live
No,
transfers?
there's still a buffer.
Oh,
So
there is.
yep, you still get a buffer.
Okay.
So I think with well, hold on, because sometimes I think you can pay definitely for sometimes it's only a buffer that is for yeah, like all calls, it's only a 5 second
Okay.
buffer. With health is wealth though, I believe I'm logged in now. It is a 30-second buffer.
All right.
So yeah, 30 seconds I believe, and that's pretty good. So I think that's why health is wealth is like, is doing pretty good right now because it's 30-second buffer even after they've already been pre-screened. That's huge.
You can get a lot of information and intent out of the
Yeah.
way in 30 seconds to figure out if
Hmm.
it's worth continuing the call. So now you're only paying for the business you really want to talk to, which is
Yeah.
awesome. That's so like when you're talking about for inbound buffers, I'm on one callers.io. They just have a 10-second buffer and it's really for tech issues or dead air.
Right.
They don't really refund for any other reason, which is fine, but they're only like 22.50 a piece. So
You
that's
take what you can get. Yeah.
the ROI is fine. And I think I'm at a 20% close on that. So it's been a good experience. But you've been doing it for about 2 months with a few different vendors.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you have your data handy. I actually went out and looked at your data for June. You've taken, as of yesterday, you've taken 48 phone calls. You've given 34 presentations, written 22,000 in business. Is that right?
Uh, so in the month of June, I've done. See, I don't know. I haven't. Yeah. Oh, is that from the sniper tracker? I forget to
Yeah.
log a lot of the times too. There's stuff
Oh,
missing from there.
well, if you forget to log, then your numbers are probably even more impressive then because that was what I was able to
Yeah.
find in the sniper
Yeah.
emails.
Right now, I'm actually at 26,589,000
Wow.
written. Um, yeah. So that's actually what I'm at right now. 29 apps, and I'm hoping to get that to. Let me see, where are we at? We're Friday. I could probably do one more today. I'm gonna work Saturday, maybe not, and then we got Monday, Tuesday. So yeah, I'm hoping to get that to 30,000. Hopefully. And Monday I'm in live dials, so I'm gonna be doing health as well, just
Have,
all day, ripping them.
what's been your biggest month so far since you started in the business?
I was writing 40K a month with Dig, so
Oh,
but
okay.
it was free leads and I had unlimited and I could just sit there and dial all day and like,
Sure.
so with
Okay.
I'm trying to get back to that and a broker status,
Right.
but I need to see how much I need to spend per month to get to 40K.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to do 40, 50K a month. So, and I've been lazy this month for sure because I'm just looking here. I've had Yeah, I've definitely been lazy. It's easy to be lazy with inbounds too. That's what I've noticed. Is like inbounds is so efficient. Like
Yeah.
it's so easy to just get your two sales and then just F off for the rest of the day. Like
Yeah.
you
You
know how
can
long it
kind
would
of just
take you to get two sales in outbound? Like sometimes people are working 8 to 10 hours a day to get one
or
sale.
more.
Yeah, just to get one sale a day. But
Yeah.
inbound, I can literally, dude, there was one point I was working like 3 hours a day. I was literally I started dialing at 2 p.m. I ended at 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And I would just get my sale or two and just leave.
Yeah. I mean,
You
that's
know?
that's a lot of people. That's the goal, right? And I know that's what I'm liking about
Yeah.
it so far. This week I've been doing inbounds and have kind of taken my foot off the gas in terms of
Yeah,
how
because you can. Because you
right. And
can. You
I'm
don't need to work 10 hours a day anymore. But imagine if you did though. Imagine if you put
yeah.
the same grind in inbounds and outbounds. Are you kidding me? Do you know how
But
much like
but
you
you
would
can't if
write?
you don't have capital, you still can't spend
Then
ahead of your cash flow, right?
that's where the difficulty comes in with inbound.
Yeah.
You have to be smart when it comes to your capital and because you're paying per call. Like you're just load the money in and you gotta convert, and then it's like the the name of the game in insurance really is just managing your capital week by week and managing the policies and what you write. You have to be smart about all of that because I think the best time to sell is actually the third and fourth week of the month. That's when you should really be like hitting the gas. Because why? Because most people get their social security on the first or the third. So you
Yeah.
can load up that capital the third and fourth week of the month. If you just start blasting, that's what I'm trying to do. Just blast. Because I have so many policies right here. It says start date 7/3, 7/3, 7/3, 7/15, 7/12, 7/8, 7/3, 7/22, 7/7/7/7. It's all of
Yeah.
July. So a lot of that sometimes I'm not getting paid because I didn't write it with, if it's not with AmAm or Mutual of Omaha, I'm not seeing that till the client pays, you
Right.
know? So I'm just bleeding money hoping that it's all, well, I know it's all going to come back to me in July and then some, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of that did get paid this month, but a lot of it's not getting paid till next month. So you have to be smart when you're writing business. Like, okay, if I write this, I'm going to have this much left. Okay, this the carrier is going to pay me on this day, but then if I write this ambient policy, I can get some capital for tomorrow. And then if this gets
Yeah.
issued, it's like you gotta you play that kind of game in your head and know, and that's fun to do. Like once you start to
Yeah.
really figure it out, it's it's a good business.
But that's part of the game too. You're talking about knowing all the things. That's one of the things you have to know. If you go and spend all your money, because like I can just sit here and write business all day, great. But if
Yeah.
you have 75% of your book business that doesn't start until next month, and that's when you get paid on it, you run out of money, and then what? You just kind of stuck
You
waiting.
can't, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. You got to go back
yeah,
to your $1 leads or something, or just take a break, I guess, because you ain't got
I
no
don't
more
want to.
money coming in. That's you
Yeah,
got to be
I
smart.
don't want to do that.
Yeah, you got to always, you should always have enough to at least, right, be smart and like always, you just get yourself 1 to 2 policies a day. Maybe if you're just tight on cash, you know, even if you still got money in the account, right, keep yourself busy like every day. Don't let
Hmm.
yourself just sit and just do nothing for a week or two. Like don't get too comfortable, right?
Right.
Just keep yourself enough busy. Write your 1 policy a day. If your money's tight, you only put $1,000 or $800 in the machine, in the inbound machine. Break it apart across a week.
Right.
Break it across
Yep.
that week. I'm gonna take this many calls per day. I'm gonna spend this much per day. If I don't get it, you know what? It is what it is. Or just make it a goal of like, hey, I'm gonna get a sale a day. However, I don't really care how much I spend to do it. If you're confident and you can do it, you break it down over the 5 days you work, 6 days. Just get yourself a sale a day. Sale a day
Yeah.
keeps the bill collector away. That's what they say. So if you can do
Absolutely.
that, if you make a sale a day, you work 5 days a week, it's 20 policies a month. Hey, that's pretty good. You
That's a
know,
good living. That's
that's good. That's good. But
yeah.
if you're trying to do more, right? Like I'm at 29 policies for this month now. I think my highest ever was with Dig. I don't know if I have my old Dig track. I think I do actually. I had to keep it just in case. But I had a client actually passed away back in September.
Oh,
Yeah, so I had to keep my dig tracker on here. But yeah, my best month, yeah, August and September of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I think I've already beat it actually. So yeah, maybe with here at Empower, I mean, I've just, you got I had a new, sometimes you just get a new fire under you when you look at, when you start to like make money and the money starts coming in, that's when you really like, you get that fire under you. Like once you start actually see it happening, once you
yeah.
start, seeing the money come in. And I was already like this at Dig last year between like August, September, October. Those were like my biggest, like, because we got bonuses too for
Okay.
like, for working a certain amount of hours a week and having a certain close percentage, you would get a bonus every single week, and that's
Oh,
stacked on top of your commissions. So it was
okay.
it was good. It's good living. But now I don't
Oh,
have that anymore. So now you got to make up for it with broker commissions and all that. So
yeah.
but once you start see it happening, once you start the money starts coming in, once you start getting those deposits and you start just being consistent, it makes you, well, we would hope, because there's two types of people. One person who says, I'm just gonna F off and go buy some stupid stuff and take
Yeah.
a little break, or there's the person who says, dang, like I want more. Like I want to keep going. I want to see if I
Yeah.
can beat this month and the next month. And it drives you to work even harder the next month. And then things just start compounding. And
Yeah.
now if you just stay consistent, you're off to the races. Now you're good.
Yeah. You get enough cash stacked. You can put
Exactly.
as much money on the money machine if you want to, as you want to, and grow it as fast as you want. You just have to be a little bit more strategic in the beginning when you're
Exactly.
not flush with cash, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a preference on? So there are different types of inbound calls. There's TV ads. There's
Hmm.
screened calls, either live agent or AI. There's TV streaming ads, and then there's just raw, uncut, whatever. And then they charge you based on different buffer lengths, 30, 60, 90 seconds to figure out if you want to pay for it or not. Do you have a preference on which ones you like best?
So me personally, if I'm gonna do TV, I'm sticking with agentcalls.io TV all day. 30
Okay.
second buffer. Um, he said that so it'll say pre-screened on there. They're not actually all pre-screened. So he said like every once in a while, some of the calls are pre-screened just to as a it's like a quality control thing. They want to make
Okay.
sure that the ads are still, that are quality and no vendor is like doing some stupid stuff. So
Yeah.
some of them are pre-screened just to keep the quality up. Now, if
Okay.
I'm doing like live transfers, health as well for sure, and then for I think those are just the two that me personally that I'm gonna stick with is
Okay.
just all calls, or not all calls, health is wealth life transfers, and then TV agent calls.io because I think they've just been the most consistent, the best. I knew it was good. I mean, when the one day, like when I first started agent calls, I loaded up $85, ripped it, my first call ever sale.
So
Like,
there's no minimum to start those?
nope, you can put
Okay.
anything you want. Health is wealth. It's a 10 call minimum, so $470, which is nothing. My first call with health is wealth. I think I closed the second one. First one I couldn't help. She already had the best thing available. Second
Okay.
call, Sika 816 AP for 489 in commissions. Right there, I made my money back off of that one call. But
Yeah.
it's Sika, so Sika's pay is not good. They pay number one, they only pay 6 month advance instead of 9.
Oh,
And yeah, I just found that out actually, and I've been writing Sika this whole. I was like, I called them. I was like, why is it so low? Why is the number so low? Because I just sold a $118 a month policy, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's actually only 6 month advance." So I was like,
ah,
"Oh, that sucks." But
okay.
and then another health as well. It was Sika again. That was the one I was. It was an old the lady had to call back. That's why it took me so long to hop on. So that was
Okay.
another one, $105 a month, but only 560 in commission on that one. So
Yeah.
I've those just off of those two, I took 4 calls, closed 2 of them. I've already made my money back. So I'm not
Yeah.
gonna see it till next month, but I made my money back. So and I got
Yeah.
6 more calls to go, 7 calls to go. So I'm already profitable. See, so if
Yeah.
you got to think like you put the money in the machine. That's what I like about inbounds. It's like you're putting money in a machine that you know you just got to see how much you're gonna get in return. It's like you
Yeah.
just put money in to see how much you're gonna get out. It's like it's a fun game to play. I put a
Yeah.
thousand in. Let me see how much I can get back.
I that's where I want to be. And I started this week and it's been exactly what I expected it to be. And I think that's where I fit best. I don't know why Outbound and getting through that first 2 minutes was so hard for me, but
Mhm.
this helps solve that. Because in what it kind of made the decision for me is I went back for the 6 months I've been here. I'd worked 160 days and I'd given 168 presentations. That isn't enough. So this now I can
Mhm.
pay a little extra, get 3, 4 presentations a day, write a policy, go home. It's consistent and it's predictable and it fits into
Exactly.
what I'm good at, which is counseling and that kind of thing, not fighting people for a conversation. So um yeah, it's have you noticed the calls are different or the call types are different? Like when you're doing outbound versus inbound, are you more comfortable with one or the other? Do you feel a different way about how those go, or what are your thoughts on that?
Um, I would say also I was gonna ask if you have do you have a referral code for callers.io? I was signing up for it, but it said referral code. I was
No, I
gonna put one
don't.
in.
No, I don't.
Oh, oh, they don't. Shoot. Usually on those, if you on your account somewhere in those inbounds, it says like refer a friend or something, or
Oh, you
refer
know what?
some. It's like yeah, it's all usually on your profile or something like that. It says like
Yeah,
refer
let me
somebody
look.
or
I don't know. They are a
um.
little bit different in terms of I don't know resources, workspace, query. Maybe there's something here. I don't know.
But to answer your
Um,
question, I think yeah, I mean, it's just really just a different mind. It's really about like the mindset you're in when you're doing these different calls. Like if I'm in outbound, like I'm ready to go to war every day. Like I'm sitting in my chair, like I'm ready to. It's almost like I'm ready to argue. Like I'm ready for. I got to be prepared, mentally prepared for a lot more. I'm ready
yeah,
to get cussed out. I'm ready to argue with people about what they have. Like, and people lying to me about, oh my gosh, yeah, I got 100,000 for $20 a month or something like that, that's saying its whole life. Like, I'm ready. I got to deal with all of that BS. Like, I'm just mentally preparing myself.
yeah,
Inbound, it's like inbound. I'm sitting down. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to write some applications. I'm ready to help people. I'm ready to do that. And that's not to say I'm not with outbound, but it's like with outbound, it's like you just gotta be battle hardened, like
yeah,
just ready to in a different mindset. You gotta be. It's just different. That's the kind of atmosphere with the calls. Unless you're getting like the freshest lead on the planet, they literally filled it out 30 seconds ago. You called them, they answered, they're ready to go, which hardly ever happens. Like that it almost creates the same environment as like an inbound calls when you get someone like that.
yeah.
It's almost like a laydown. And I've had a couple laydowns with the inbounds for sure.
Hmm.
You think about the mindset someone's in off an inbound TV ad. When is the last time you ever were watching TV and you were like, man, I got to call about that. And you never done that. Like,
Yeah,
so just think about the mindset you have to be in to see that ad on TV and like, I need to call about that. I need
yeah.
that. Like you're just a laydown. Like you're just like they're some of the easiest people to sell because you
Yeah.
just are so compelled that you called off a TV ad
But if you don't
and
know your stuff, you're
right,
still going to lose them.
you're screwed. You're cooked. Yeah, that's the problem. So you got to work your way up to that point. But I'd say
Yeah.
the inbound mindset is just totally different. Inbounds, it's like I'm almost going in just wondering like, all right, how many sales am I going to get today? Like,
Yeah.
you
I like the conversations
know,
better because it's more, I feel like it's just more like customer service and being there to solve their problem. And you can be
hmm
more direct because that's why they called. It's just
hmm
a, I enjoy the conversations better,
You're
but
not
maybe
ruining
that's just,
someone's day. You're not calling them mother at the doctor's office, or I'm just stepping out the door. Can you call me back later? Oh, I'm not interested, even though I just filled it out 30 seconds ago.
yeah.
I don't remember the last time I even heard. Man, I can't remember those objections. Anyway, like the last time I heard like, call me back later, I'm busy, or oh my God,
Yeah.
or I'm not interested, or I have had a couple of inbounds that kind of went sour in the first. Like I had one guy get mad that I was a broker and hung up. Like I was like, okay,
Oh,
like you want to sit here and waste your time calling 50 different companies and wasting your time for an hour with them? I was like, I'm just confused. I'm like, that doesn't make any
yeah.
sense. He was like,
Yeah.
oh, so you're a broker. And he was like, oh, so I'm not interested. Sorry, the last broker you had was a piece of crap, and I'm sorry, but you had a bad experience. And it was just over the buffer time too, so I got charged. So I
Ah,
was it was unfortunate. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, some people like, Sydney and Nick and Tori, Ashton, they're so good at outbound that, I mean, they're going to capitalize no matter what they're doing. But I mean, it, this is
It's
this is where I want to be. I can
yeah,
control my schedule. I can control my spend. I can have predictable results because they're based on the actual conversations I'm having, not the number of dials I'm making. I've done 1,200 dials in a day before and talked to 20 people and got hung
right.
up on 18 times. Like that's it's
It's not
ludicrous.
efficient. It's not efficient either. I'm all about
No,
efficiency, really. And I think, I think that a lot of folks are, I think they just don't know how good they could have it. They're just comfortable with outbound because that's all they know. That's all they've been know. Like they're already trained for this, but little do they know. Like I just talked about with Marcus, if they switched over to inbound, like with the skill set that they have, with all the knowledge they have, with the outbound stuff that they've already been through, I mean, they would kill it. I
yeah,
think it's Sydney, Ashton. Well, Ashton's a little different because he gets leads different way, but like Sydney, Matt, you know, all those guys, like Nick, especially writing 80 to 100K in a month. Clark, could you
yeah,
imagine if Clark Stanley did inbounds only? Could you imagine how much money he could write 200K in a month? Promise you.
yeah,
Like, imagine Clark Stanley doing, or Dylan Crane doing inbounds. Come on. Are you serious? Instead of
yeah,
wasting time dialing all day, they could be sitting here just having. Imagine if they just had conversation after conversation after conversation,
yeah,
non-stop for the same hours that he's
yeah,
sitting there on a dialer all day. Come on. Are we
yeah.
kidding? Like,
And yeah, you get more states, you get fewer time between calls, and now
my wait
you
time is
control your
like,
calendar.
yep, my wait time is like a minute, if that, to
Yeah.
3 minute on agent calls, like with the
How many
TV lead,
states do you
like
have?
41
Oh,
now. I just bought Colorado yesterday.
okay.
So 41 states. Like, it's just like, I'm in there. Like,
Yeah.
imagine just getting connected call after call after call. It can almost get exhausting. You're talking to so many people.
Yeah.
Like, you just feel mentally drained. I'm drained after these applications I had to do today. I'm drained. You
Yeah.
know,
I used to do customer service on for Citibank and taking inbound calls, 85 inbound calls in a day where you're constantly talking and
85
it's
inbounds in a day.
exhausting. Yeah. It's exhausting, but I mean, it's just customer service. So some of it was quick, some of it was not, and 10-hour shifts. But yeah, it's a different
Now,
animal.
now do 10-hour shift with inbound final expense and see what happens. Like,
Then I will be
dude,
energized.
you probably write 5K in a day. Like, think of, I
Y-
mean, just
Yeah.
man,
Yeah. No,
it's just it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
I'm kind of just proving the concept and trying to decide if what type of inbounds I want to go with. But
Yeah.
that's my intention is just to ramp that up and do that exclusively. Did you ever do anything with mailers or mailing leads?
Uh, no, I mean, uh,
I mean,
mailers,
the intent is there because they filled something out, actually put it in the mail
right?
to send it back. But
I personally haven't had mailers, um, but I don't think, mailers I haven't done them yet. I heard those are better for like mortgage protection.
Yeah, I think
When
they're
you're
pretty
talking
good.
mortgage protection, it's like a mailer.
Yeah,
Um, so I got a message on
yeah,
hopefully I don't have an application to do right now. But yeah, they mailers are some I haven't done yet. But if you're doing mortgage protection, which I eventually want to switch to, that's the way to go. Because think about how intent you have to be to mail something. When was the last time you like sent something in the mail or something? Like, come on now.
right.
That's
Never.
like,
Yeah. And what happens a lot of times they get lost and nobody ever actually contacts them. So when you call them, it might be an aged lead that you bought for 25 cents, 3 years old, but nobody ever called them. So they still have a need, which is, I think and I don't know if that's entirely true, but that's kind of what I've gotten bits and pieces talking to other reps who doing mailers. So, I've never used them, kind of have thought about it, but I want to be on inbound for now and then see where that goes. So, um, any other thoughts on different lead types, platforms, processes? What do you recommend for new agents,
no,
ex-
well, no, I
experienced
mean,
agents, and
I think really, I just think that, you have to uh, really be humble with yourself, really know where you're at, and really be honest with yourself in this business. Like if you're not up to snuff, like, and um, you know, if you have some issues to go through, if you don't know like your application process, or things like that, you've got to get tight with it. I mean, you have to put in the reps and the time. The money is worth it. I promise. The money is worth it. You
yeah,
have to get there though. Nobody sees. I don't know, I was talking to the agent calls guy about this. Like, yeah, I'm making good money now with this, but you don't see when I wasn't. Like, you never see the times when I was freaking broke, had $20 to my name. Like when I was just grinding in my little chair with my ghetto little. Hold on, I'll pull it out right now. I mean, this is like I don't even have it, but it's this little ghetto Dell laptop that I was working at Lincoln Heritage with my little plastic little headset. I was sitting in this chair for 10 to 14 hours a day. Dane will tell you I was there.
yeah,
I was grinding. I did that just so I could, um, just so I can get better, just so I can learn everything. And I learn quick. I'm a fast learner, so it helped me a lot,
yeah,
and you have to, take everything, into consideration when you're thinking about, your spend, how much money you have. You got to do that. Dude, I was literally just to make this work, I was still doing like side jobs up until like 2, 3 months ago. I was still
really,
doing stuff
okay,
outside of insurance. Yeah, I was doing it. I wasn't ashamed to do it either. Like I'm not above it. Not above doing manual labor to fund my leads and processes. I would literally go out and do side jobs, stuff like that. Put the money into inbound, put it into the inbound thing because I just wanted it so bad. I wanted to do it.
yeah,
And
that's
so,
awesome.
and I'm not afraid to do that though. But some people are say, "Oh no, I can't do that," or I don't want to do that. I don't want to bring myself to that. Or no, you do what you got to do to make ends meet. And if you're not ready for inbounds, you're not ready. Like
Yeah,
stay on outbound until you can confidently, you know, do every single application. You confidently know your underwriting. You could see somebody's health concerns and age and all that, and you should already have an idea of like, oh, okay, I'm gonna put them here. Oh, yeah, I can
yeah,
go here, and I can pivot here if I need to. I've had to do two applications at once before. I learned how to do that. I got two screen. I'm filling in both at the same time just
yeah,
in case for a quick pivot. Like you need to get that good to where like
yeah,
you are just on it. You know then you are ready for inbounds. Inbounds is a privilege. Like I said, don't go and spend down thinking that, I'm just gonna get a free ride and it's easy through. No, because while it is easier, you will run into other issues. Inbounds will expose you for the things you don't know and the things you thought that weren't important. You will get
yeah,
exposed in
yeah,
inbounds. You will get ran over by these people if you don't know what you're doing.
yeah. I, I, I appreciate this has been a great episode. I've learned a lot from you, and shiny objects are abound in this business. Leads, scripts, training, IMOs, all the stuff. But this super good information for new reps and experienced reps who are still trying to figure out where they fit in and how they can make this business work. So I have one last question for you, Darian. If somebody wants to buy a policy from you or work with you, how can they find you?
Uh, on Instagram, it's a bit of a weird Instagram name. Let me share my screen here. Oh, of course, Dan Neeson pops up. At H.A.Z.3 underscore and
H.A.Z. Yeah, I'll get that
dot
from your
three
comment.
underscore, and that is my Instagram here. So I just I'm not big into the content's coming eventually. I have so many ideas for like insurance content, stuff like that. It's coming. It'll get there soon. But
Yep.
right now I'm just chilling. I don't really look like an insurance broker on Instagram, but I assure you I am, and I've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'll be there. So
Awesome. Well, honestly, you can probably use the clips from this episode to start sharing more of that kind of content, and maybe it's a great place to start. So, thanks for listening to the Dialing for Dollars podcast. If you enjoyed the show, like, subscribe, and share with another agent who's still dialing leads at 8 p.m. or tell them to go to Inbound. Have a good one.